The first light of morning crept over the city like a slow-moving tide, painting the glass skyscrapers in pale gold. Officer Karen Mitchell exhaled slowly, watching her breath fog in the crisp autumn air. Her patrol car idled at the intersection of Maple and 3rd, the usual spot where she liked to finish her coffee before the real work began. The streets were just waking up. Delivery trucks double-parked outside bakeries, early commuters rushing towards subway grates with their collars turned up against the wind. She took another sip, savoring the bitter warmth. Just another Tuesday. Then the screaming started. At first, Karen thought it was just another city commotion. Maybe a bike messenger had clipped a pedestrian. But then she saw the blur of movement. A streak of matted brown fur barreling through the crowd, knocking over a newspaper stand in its panic. People shouted, jumping back as the creature zigzagged wildly. Just a stray, she thought at first. But then it locked eyes with her, and Karen Mitchell, a 12-year veteran of the force, felt her blood turn to ice. The dog skidded to a stop at her boots, its entire body trembling. Up close, she could see the wounds, a long gash along its ribs. Burrs tangled in its fur like it had been running through the woods. Its tongue lolled, panting, but this wasn't exhaustion. This was terror. "Hey there, buddy," Karen murmured, kneeling. She reached out slowly, palm up. The dog didn't sniff her hand. It grabbed her sleeve in its teeth and pulled. Every instinct told her to call animal control. But something deeper, something primal, made her stand. "Mitchell to dispatch," she said into her radio, eyes locked on the dog. "Possible 1054 near Maple and 3rd. Requesting backup to my location." The dog took off, glancing back to make sure she followed. Karen hesitated only a second before breaking into a run. The alley stank of rotting food and stale urine, the kind of place Karen normally only entered with backup and a flashlight. The dog moved with purpose, its nails clicking against the cracked pavement. Then it stopped at a chain-link fence, rusted and sagging. A construction site beyond it, long abandoned. The dog squeezed through a gap in the fence. Karen unclipped her flashlight. "All right," she muttered. "Let's see what you're so desperate to show me." The beam of her flashlight cut through the gloom, revealing broken concrete, twisted rebar, and a smeared trail of crimson leading toward a collapsed section of scaffolding. Her pulse spiked. The dog was already there, pawing at the rubble, whining high in its throat. Karen moved closer, her boots crunching over broken glass. Then she saw it. A pale hand, limp beneath the wreckage. She was moving before her brain fully processed it, heaving aside chunks of wood and metal. The smell hit her first, copper and sweat and the sour tang of fear. A child, no older than 8, his face streaked with dirt and blood, unconscious but alive. His chest rose faintly. "Dispatch. I need EMS now." Karen barked into her radio, her voice sharper than she'd ever heard it. "Child trapped. Possible 1052. Abandoned construction site off Maple." The dog whined, nudging the boy's face with his nose. Karen's fingers found a pulse. Thready, weak, but there. The boy's eyelids fluttered. "Leo," he rasped, so quiet she almost missed it. Then his hand twitched, grasping at her sleeve with surprising strength. "They're coming!" The paramedics arrived in a storm of flashing lights and shouted orders. Karen hovered nearby, her uniform sleeve still damp with Leo's blood, as the EMTs worked with terrifying efficiency. Pupils sluggish but reactive. BP 80/40 and dropping. Possible internal bleeding. Prep for transfusion. The rhythmic beep, beep, beep of the heart monitor filled the ambulance as they loaded Leo inside. Karen moved to follow, but a gloved hand stopped her. "Officer, we've got this," the lead medic said, his face grim. "You need to secure the scene." The ambulance doors slammed shut, leaving Karen standing in the dust. Shadow let out a high-pitched whine, straining against the animal control officer's leash. "Easy, boy," Karen said, kneeling. The dog's golden eyes locked onto hers, pleading. "Dispatch, this is Mitchell," she said into her radio. "The K9 that located the victim, he's material evidence. I need him held at Central, not County Pound." A pause, then, 10-4 officer, will notify K9 unit. Shadow's tail gave a single, hesitant wag. City General's ER smelled like antiseptic and stale coffee. Karen paced the linoleum floor, her boots squeaking with every turn. A woman burst through the automatic doors. Sarah Evans. "Where is he? Where's my son?" Her voice cracked like broken glass. Karen stepped forward. "Mrs. Evans." Sarah grabbed her arms, nails digging into the fabric of her uniform. "Is he alive? Please, just tell me he's alive." Dr. Chen emerged from the trauma bay, her scrub spattered with blood. "Multiple fractures, grade 3 concussion, and severe dehydration," she said, stripping off her gloves. "But he's stable," Sarah sobbed, collapsing against Karen. "He kept saying a name," Dr. Chen added quietly. "The broker? Mean anything to you?" Karen's spine went rigid. Back at the precinct, Karen spread the backpack's contents across the examination table. 1. A child's drawing, stick figures of a family, one man's face scribbled out violently. 2. Burned business card. Only the letters AYVSTOR remained. Third mystery key, tagged Unit 312. Bayview Storage, her partner Ramirez muttered. "That's on 5th and Mercer." Beneath a half-eaten granola bar, Karen found a folded city map, 3 locations circled in red ink. 1. The abandoned construction site. 2. A warehouse district by the docks. 3. Sarah Evans' home address. "This wasn't random," Karen whispered. "They were hunting him." Sarah sat in the interrogation room, clutching a styrofoam cup of cold coffee. "Daniel got involved with them last year," she said, her voice hollow. "Said it was just import, export. Then one night he came home with a gunshot graze and $200,000 in a duffel bag." Karen leaned forward. "The broker?" Sarah's hands shook. "He told me if anything happened to him, to take Leo and run. So when they found his body in the river..." "There's more," Sarah said, pulling a photo from her wallet. A young Leo grinning in front of a wall safe. "Daniel's insurance. He said if they ever came for us, the combination was Leo's birthday plus..." Her voice broke. "I can't remember the rest." The vet tech handed Karen a report. "You're not going to believe this. This dog's chipped, registered to a retired K9 named Rex from state police." Karen stared at Shadow, who panted up at her. "You're a cop?" The dog woofed softly, as if answering. Records showed Rex's handler, Officer Mark Vasquez, was killed in a training accident 6 months ago, the same week Daniel Evans disappeared. "No such thing as coincidences," Ramirez muttered. The padlock clicked open. Karen aimed her flashlight inside and recoiled. Wall-to-wall surveillance photos. Sarah's house, Leo's school, even Karen's patrol car. "We've been watched for months," she breathed. Then Shadow growled at a shadowy figure sprinting away into the night. A man with a snake and dagger tattoo on his wrist. Rain sheeted down in silver curtains as Karen's unmarked cruiser rolled through the abandoned industrial zone. Her windshield wipers fought a losing battle against the downpour, the rhythmic thwap, 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 keeping time with her pounding heartbeat. In the passenger seat, Shadow panted nervously, his police dog instincts recognizing what Karen's human senses couldn't yet perceive. Danger hung thick in the humid air. "This is Unit 47, Karen whispered into her radio, eyes scanning the derelict buildings. "Approaching suspected broker stronghold at Pier 9 warehouse, requesting silent backup." The warehouse loomed ahead, its broken windows like empty eye sockets. Karen's service Glock felt heavy in her damp palm as she approached the rusted side door. Shadow moved like a ghost beside her, his nails making no sound on the wet concrete. Then the smell hit them. Copper and gunpowder, fresh blood. The warehouse interior was a crime scene frozen in time. Karen's flashlight beam illuminated 3 bodies in advanced decomposition, ID badges still clipped to their shirts. All security guards from Bayview Storage. A laptop with its hard drive removed, the empty bay still warm to the touch. Shipping manifests for agricultural equipment that matched known arms smuggling routes. But it was the wall-size map that stopped Karen cold. Red pins marked 1, Leo's school 2, Sarah's workplace 3. The hospital where Leo now recovered. Shadow growled low in his throat as Karen's radio crackled to life. Mitchell, we've got movement at City General. Someone just bypassed the pediatric ward security cameras. Karen's tires screeched as she fishtailed into the hospital parking lot. Her lungs burned from sprinting up 6 flights of stairs, Shadow bounding ahead of her. The scene outside Leo's room was chaos. 2 unconscious officers slumped against the wall. Shattered glass from the fire alarm box. Sarah's purse spilled across the floor, contents scattered inside the room. Leo sat wide-eyed in bed, clutching a note in his small hand. His voice trembled. "They took Mommy." The man with the snake tattoo said to give you this. The note contained 3 words in precise block letters. The safe or her. Back at Sarah's ransacked apartment, Karen knelt before the wall safe. Leo's birthday, April 23rd, got her past the first lock, but the secondary combination remained. Shadow pawed at a photo frame buried in the debris. Daniel Evans' Police Academy graduation picture. The date on the certificate, June 12th. The safe hissed open, revealing a ledger of offshore accounts totaling $17 million. Dirt on city officials in the broker's pocket, a USB drive labeled, "For Sarah, if I'm gone." The drive's video showed a gaunt Daniel Evans speaking directly to the camera. "If you're seeing this, they've won. But the accounts are yours now. Password is our wedding song." Sarah's phone pinged with a new message, a live feed showing her bound to a chair in what appeared to be a shipping container. The timestamp, 00:59:57, 00:59:56. As SWAT geared up outside the suspected dockyard location, Karen strapped a K9 camera vest onto Shadow. The German Shepherd's muscles quivered with anticipation, his training resurfacing after months on the streets. "Find her, boy," Karen whispered, pressing Sarah's scarf to his nose. What followed was a 6-minute ballet of violence, Shadow silently taking down a sentry, Karen disabling 2 guards with precise taser shots. The heart-stopping moment when Shadow located Sarah's container, only for the broker's voice to echo from hidden speakers, "Officer Mitchell, so good of you to join us. Now let's discuss terms." Rain lashed against the rusted shipping containers in Pier 17, creating a metallic symphony that drowned all subtle sounds. Karen moved through the maze of steel corridors, her combat boots splashing through oily puddles. Shadow advanced 5 paces ahead, his ears twitching at frequencies human ears couldn't detect. The K9 camera feed showed Sarah's heat signature 30 yards ahead, flanked by 2 armed guards. "SWAT in position?" Karen whispered into her throat mic. "Team Alpha has the south exit," came the crackled response. "Team Bravo's drone shows 3 additional hostiles on the north side." A sudden burst of static, then silence. The broker's voice replaced it, echoing through the dockyard PA system. "Come now, detective. Let's not pretend this ends with handcuffs and due process." Shadow's growl vibrated through Karen's shins as they rounded the final corner and came face to face with the man who'd been hunting them all along. The broker stood with his back to a burning barrel, the snake and dagger tattoo writhing in the firelight. When he turned, Karen's breath caught. Captain Daniel Riggs, her own precinct commander, smiled with all the warmth of a shark. "You?" Karen's Glock wavered for the first time in her career. "All those press conferences, the task forces, you were running it the whole time?" Riggs spread his hands, the barrel's glow reflecting off his gold badge. "Cities need monsters to justify their heroes, Mitchell. I just made sure the monster stayed profitable." Behind him, Sarah strained against her bonds, her muffled screams barely audible through the duct tape. Shadow quivered with barely restrained fury, waiting for Karen's signal. Then Riggs raised a detonator. "Now, let's discuss what happens to loose ends." The explosion rocked the docks as Riggs detonated his prepared charges, not to kill, but to create chaos. Shipping containers groaned as their support beams collapsed, creating a deadly maze of falling steel. "Go!" Karen shouted, and Shadow became a brown missile streaking toward Sarah. What happened next unfolded in heartbeats. 1. Shadow's teeth closed on Riggs's wrist, the detonator clattering to the ground. 2. Karen's 3-round burst caught Riggs in the shoulder as he drew his weapon. 3. A falling container grazed Shadow's hindquarters as he dragged Sarah to safety. The German Shepherd collapsed at Karen's feet, blood matting his fur, but Sarah was free. As SWAT secured Riggs, Karen pried open the flash drive's final encrypted file. The video showed Daniel Evans' last moments. If you're seeing this, Riggs knows about the ledger. He's got people everywhere, even in... A gunshot off camera. The video cut to a list of badge numbers, every corrupt officer on Riggs' payroll. On screen, Evans gasped his final words. "The money's in the school fund. For Leo." The Pulitzer-winning photo told the whole story. Karen Mitchell accepting her promotion to lieutenant. Sarah and Leo Evans standing tall at the police memorial. Shadow, his fur graying but tail wagging, receiving the Medal of Valor. As the camera flashes faded, Karen knelt to scratch behind Shadow's ears. The dog licked her palm once, then trotted over to Leo, as he'd done that first fateful morning. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales like this. Until next time, take care.